Hi, guys. Welcome to the Saturday Night Live after show. Very exciting. We're going to be talking about season 42, episode 14 with Alec Baldwin and Ed Sheeran. Tune in right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes. Ooh. Oh, Ed Sheeran. Oh.
The ginger does things to us.
He does, though. He really, really does. Slip. Hi, guys. How you doing? Welcome to the Saturday Night Live after show. I'm your host, Kim Crossman. You can find me on all things on the internet at Kim Crossman. And I have the lovely...
Amy Maestri. You can find me on the internet at Amy Maestri.
What a wonderful intro that was.
Right? Just
went straight to the gutter. There we go.
Right away.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. I don't know if you watch on YouTube or in case you're doing it on iTunes or wherever you watch, we've started responding to people on YouTube comments. So that's exciting. Things to look forward to. If you want to throw some shade and throw some hate, go for it. We'll just hit you right back with love and kindness.
Yes.
From me, and then more shade from it. No, we love hearing from you guys. And yeah, please interact with us. We love to know what you guys think of the show as well. This is a conversation. It's not rhetorical. What did you think, Amy, of the cold open?
All right. I could watch Melissa McCarthy do this for the rest of my life and never watch anything else.
Were you surprised when she came out and did it? Because I know there was a lot of talk this week about potentially Rosie O'Donnell taking that kind of spot.
Yeah, I still would love to see Rosie come on and do Bannon because I think Trump would actually explode.
Yeah.
Into 1,000 pieces if that happened.
I thought that's what was going to be the cold open. I was like, for sure. For sure. But no.
So I think we're getting close. But hey, I still do like that there's yet another member of the cabinet being played by a woman, Kate coming in and doing sessions in this. But I thought this one was great. I think the first one, no, it's one of those things. They're not going to top the first time that she did Spicer.
Sure.
But I still loved this. I loved her referring to herself as spicy. Spicy's coming at you at the end. And I loved having Kate come in as Sessions too.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I thought her face looked amazingly different, like gaunt almost. I thought that Kate did a great job, and then I was like, geez, so Kate's playing Kellyanne Conway, Jeff Sessions, and then she played someone else on Weekend Update. In terms of, I mean, the rest of the cast, they'll be like, hey, we're going to give it to Kate. She's going to do everybody that isn't already taken.
Literally every political figure is going to be done by Kate now.
I liked the Dolly part of it. That was, we know she's okay because she's blonde. Oh, no, it's Moana. That made me laugh. I think it was pretty much the same as what we saw last week. They tried to heighten it. It wasn't anything completely different. I think they almost kind of hit it on the nose about just heightening it by now. It's just one giant piece of gum and stuff. But I love this. I wrote in my notes, throw to Amy for rating stats. You've got some stats for us there, Amy.
I do. So this has been the highest rated season and show in like 22 years.
Wow.
This specific episode too, they were saying a big numbers thing because our great Prez there loves his numbers and his ratings. He got a 6.6 on ratings when he hosted last year, and Alec Baldwin just brought in a 7.2. So he's kind of kicking his ass with his terrible quote unquote impression that is not funny and a big hit job. Sad.
Yeah.
So they're crushing it this year.
What do you think? I'm enjoying it more, I think, than I did last year. I think that they're getting in a bit of a rhythm. And I think that being a little bit more, that lead up. Let me say the words I think again. I just overheard myself doing it so many times. I think that last year during that kind of election race, it was kind of bogged down. I like that it's not so politically heavy at the moment. This episode in particular was, but that's probably just because Alec Baldwin was hosting. But I'm enjoying season 42.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in a way, it's good that they're kind of usually in the cold open getting so many news headlines out of the way.
Yeah.
Because typically it is good, like any other year, any other president normally, you might have one or two stories in a week that they're like, oh, okay, this could be something good. Let's figure out a point of view on this one thing that's happening and run with it. Right now, it's just like, there's like 50 things to choose from every week. So they just kind of put it all in there, which even in this one, I mean, they joked about, you know, like the federal, like the judges and him going back to court, and then like Ivanka's clothing line getting pulled from Nordstrom. And, oh my God, watching Melissa McCarthy with the heel.
shoe, her leg came very high.
She's very limber.
She's very limber. This bangle, only 39. I mean, that was horrific. I don't know if this is true or not, but it did. I think on Trevor Noah's show, he had said that day Nordstrom stock actually rose by like 4% after Trump tried to get everyone to.
I hope so. I think one of my favorites was Chelsea Handler had posted on her Facebook that she took her gay and Muslim friend shopping at Nordstrom and then went to the White House to pay their respects, and there's just a picture of them out front of the White House holding all their Nordstrom bags.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So everyone's getting some real good comedy out of this right now.
Well, I watched SNL on Hulu, and it said Saturday Night Live brought to you by Nordstrom. And I was like, I didn't know if that was a thing or not. It was a thing?
I'm not sure, because I did the same thing when I was watching. I watched
Did
on
you
Hulu
watch
too, yeah.
Oh,
and I was in the
like,
other room
this...
when I hit play, and I was like...
Like, never seen a Nordstrom
good.
commercial in my life. And so I was like, I wonder if that's attached to it or if it's just...
I hope so.
I hope so, too. Okay, the monologue. Alec Baldwin, 17 times.
Damn.
Yikes. What did you think of the monologue?
We get it. Pete's young. I liked parts of it. I just think that that's kind of like a wasted monologue on someone like Alec Baldwin. I thought it was fun, and like the two of them worked. They played well off each other. I think Steve Buscemi's lesbian sister might be my favorite description of a human I've ever heard. But yeah, I think, you know, it's Alec Baldwin. It's 17 times, record breaking. Like, I think I just went in with higher expectations.
I had higher expectations. I don't know if I find the joke or the game of I'm young, you're old, that funny.
I think it's a lot funnier when you just did it right now.
And that's what it should have been. I also feel like they I wrote it down as a trip down memory lane. I was surprised he didn't do it as Trump, for starters. I wanted to see more of the impersonations that he mentioned. Like, he even stopped on one. He's like, I get asked to do that all the time. I'm like, and now would be a great time to do it, you know, like kind of, or bring out some of those people and redo things. You're right. It felt like I've been working all week doing these other sketches, and I'm like, oh shit, you're gonna do a monologue.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's throw up a slideshow of some pictures, and people will come out and be like, you're old. I don't know.
Yeah, I
didn't really dig it.
That's pretty much what it was. I think that's a good point. And then show don't tell. Like, hey,
I like the Jimmy Fallon clip. I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But it's not about Jimmy Fallon.
Exactly. Yeah, so I think it fell a little flat for me.
Okay, so the first proper sketch was Russell Stover, heart-shaped box of chocolates.
What'd you think of this one?
I loved this. I thought it was really funny. I liked Leslie being like, oh, I thought you forgot. He goes, about your struggle? Never. I mean, I think that being able to write something really funny about Black History Month and in February, because it gets overshadowed by so many other things, and it's such a shame. So I think to pull focus to that and you know, make fun of it in a great way, with a lot of white guys being completely clueless, is really funny. He's like, what's this one? They're like, it's a Martin Luther King chocolate. I have a cream. Yeah. I thought they were very funny, the specifics, and I liked the setup for that. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was funny. And then, why is Bill Clinton in there?
Yes, I love these. Because when you're looking at it, too, you're like, there's, like, definitely a white piece of chocolate in there. Who else?
What did you think?
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's just fun, too, because, again, like, Black History Month is something that's so important that we should be talking about. Yet, like, commercialized nonsense usually takes center stage over it. So I love this way of, like, taking both of them and putting them together, and then just having those moments too, like when I can't remember who was opposite of Sashir, but when he was like, oh, peanut butter, which one is this? And she's just like, don't say George Washington Carver. He's like, George Washington Carver. What
was the tag at Russell Stover? Are we doing this right?
Yes.
That was fun. I like that. That
On
gets
point.
a tick from me. This whole episode, for me, was a little hit and miss. I feel like it kind of just slowly got worse. Almost. Would you agree?
I would agree.
So the Cheetos Super Bowl commercial. Did you watch any Super Bowl commercials?
I feel like I watched them, but I didn't actually watch them.
Okay.
Like they were just there.
So I found this sketch in particular very funny because it was just brought to my attention last night, actually, the Audi commercial that played. And in case you guys haven't seen it, and sorry, let me set up the sketch too. Cheetos. So it's basically two different advertising companies pitching to Cheetos for their ideas for this commercial. This Audi commercial that I'm sure most of you have seen that was on during the Super Bowl is this girl, and she's racing against boys, a young girl, in a go-kart. And over her racing them, she's kind of beating them. There's this dad talking. He's like, how will I ever tell her that she'll never earn as much as a man? How will I ever tell her that, like, all these kind of, like, things, like, she'll never be looked at as worthy in a room.
Right.
And kind of this weird thing. And then the end of the commercial is he grabs her hand and he kind of says something like, well, hopefully one day I'll be able to tell her something different. Then they get in a $100,000 Audi and drive off. So first of all, I'm like, what connection is the car? Second of all, why would you ever tell your daughter that she's never worthy? Like, you just wouldn't say that. Like, I don't know. But
Hey,
it's
honey,
so
you're gonna be
dramatic.
useless.
And I think a lot of the ads at the moment are kind of pushing this feminist movement, which is great, but it shouldn't be a feminist movement against men. I think that's like, you're just adding to the problem. Like, it should be about everyone is equal rather than women are, you know, downtrodden by men, which I'm sure and I know exists, but that doesn't help creating that culture of women who are like, yeah, you're right, men are shit. Like,
You're right.
that
All
doesn't
men are
help.
awful.
That doesn't help. So this in particular made me laugh because that ad makes me laugh so much. What, now you get in a $100,000 car and everyone's fine? Like, it doesn't make sense. So when they were like, okay, there's an immigrant girl, and I was like, oh God, and it has nothing to do with Cheetos. So this sketch I really, really liked for that reason.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say the same. I think commercials have always made me laugh because there is always a disconnect, I feel like, between the message and like what it's actually for. But lately, especially, everyone is trying to get political and deep and have a message. And it's just like, doesn't always need it. It's fucking Cheetos, man. Like, have a group. And that's why I like, too, that the juxtaposition of it, too. Melissa and Alex were the two, that theirs were just so quick and just like bunch of kids, Cheetos, thanks mom, Cheetos. Like I like that they kept those so quick and light, like, so it was perfect to have play opposite.
Yeah, it's just, I guess I've never really noticed it until recently, and you're right, they all seem like PSAs to like sponsor a child or something, and it's like, no, it's for a really expensive car that has nothing to do with anything.
Exactly.
What?
And I think Cecily even had a line in there too where she's just, when they were just like, I don't know if I see the connection with the message for like the kids eating chips.
Yes.
Like,
And how the Cheetos cheetah is transgender. It's like, do we know what was he trans or adopted? Adopted. Oh, okay. Yeah.
yes.
I enjoyed this.
I really did too. I think it was just so on point for everything going on right now. And it's a great way of like kind of getting into that without really actually getting into it. Like not being too like hit the nail on the head with it.
Do you think that Audi will never give us anything after we've just dragged them through the dirt? I'm sorry. If you made that commercial or you know someone who did, happy to open a dialogue about it. Maybe we missed the message and there was something bigger. I was just using that as an example.
Well, to even the playing field, I know Budweiser did a similar thing where it was just like there's like an immigrant who came to the U.S. and like basically it's like if we didn't have immigrants, we wouldn't have beer. I'm not really sure what the message was, but again,
That was your takeaway.
Yes. Okay.
Excellent.
Without immigration, no beer. I am pro-immigration.
But
but yeah,
good message.
again,
Thanks, Budweiser.
just
so
trying
funny.
to get so much deeper than they need to for a commercial. It's a commercial.
It's all about empathy. I think that was like the key word in advertising over the past like year.
I think so. You're onto something here, Kim
Thank
Crossman.
you. Thank you. I looked around as if there was an order. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so Jack Tepper, the state union, the Kellyanne Conway goes crazy. What did you think? This is like a Fatal Attraction kind of spoof.
Yeah. Kate's crazy eyes were made for this.
I think both of their acting in this was like amazingly committed.
Yeah, it made it so much more enjoyable. Like, I just wanted to keep watching them. Like,
I could watch a movie of Kate playing
right?
the lead in a Lifetime crazy movie where someone kills a bunch of people, right?
Yeah, totally. I think, yeah, the way that they worked with each other in this was amazing. I loved when Kate just pulls out the knife and like really just ups the stakes on it.
Starts licking it.
Yeah. I love this because I think it's a good way to keep it fresh with still showing that she is batshit crazy, but like not having her behind
See
the
you
desk.
on the news. Yeah.
Like actually finding different ways to incorporate that, which I think has been an issue sometimes with the political stuff this year.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of writing itself. So it's, I think
what
it's been
can
a
you
bit
do
of a
that's
struggle.
different?
Yeah. To make it different. And I think this is a great way to do it. And same with the Chicago number that they did, the musical number for her.
Yeah.
Just finding ways to kind of spice it up.
She was great. I really enjoyed this. I liked her healing after she goes face plants into the pavement. I thought that was great. I had to look up the HuffPo Live thing because I didn't really know what that was. When they were like, no one watches, no one listens to that. I was like, I don't know what it is, but yeah.
It's apparently true because I didn't know.
Yeah.
No one does.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I think this was possibly my favorite of the night just because I love Kate McKinnon. She can do no wrong in my eyes.
Yes.
Well, good. In agreement, then.
Yay.
Okay. Now, here's where the show took an interesting turn for me. C Company, drill sergeant. So basically the setup was that you've got a bunch of recruits and they're unhappy with them. They're performing poorly. And in comes a lieutenant or a sergeant, and he starts kind of drilling them, except for one of them who's his son, clearly, and he starts to have interactions with his son in the same way that he is with the other recruits. What did you think?
Yeah, it took a turn. It took a weird turn here. I agree with you.
I don't think yelling is funny to me. And I think that's an issue that I have with Leslie. We'll come back to it, but she was kind of self-aware of that. She's like, they always cast me as yelling.
Yeah.
But to me, I feel like I struggle with anger being funny, and I struggle with just yelling all the time. Maybe I'm getting old. I'm like, ooh, my ears.
I don't like it on my ears. I
Yeah.
don't need them to yell.
No.
I kind of agree with that. Like, I think it has its time and its place, but something like this, I just don't. This is one of those ideas that's like, oh yeah, that's kind of a funny thought, like father-son dynamic.
Have you ever had
but
or know anyone who's had a parent as a teacher or anything like that?
I feel like when I was growing up, I think there was a couple kids who had like teachers in the school were parents. My mom worked as a special ed aide in the school that I went to, but not that exact relationship. But I just don't know that it's enough to build a sketch on, especially if the only premise of it is that he's just like yelling fatherly things to his son as he's doing it. Like, I just don't know that there's anywhere to go.
Do you think it would have been funnier if perhaps their relationship was different? Like maybe they hadn't seen each other in a long time, or maybe he'd walked out on him and was trying to use this moment to like explain why, or like deepen it a little so that it wasn't just, where do you want to go for your birthday dinner? Cheesecake Factory, sir. Like, yeah, or if he was trying to apologize for something that happened the night before, like maybe he walked in on his parents or something. Like, I feel like there could have been a different way of doing that.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, especially because it could have started. Lauren,
thank you.
Where you at? Pay attention
Cross.
to this one. I think it's like, just, it could have started on that normal note, and then like kind of take that weird turn of like something weird that's going on in their family that they're talking about, or. And because then you have somewhere to escalate with it too. You can actually heighten it with that. And I think if you have an idea that's just gonna stay flat, you can never go wrong by going weird. Yeah. In my opinion, like if you just make it weird, it'll at least add something to it.
I guess I was like, this is an interesting. So my mother was my ballet teacher for the longest time, but I had to call her Mrs. Arkley. I wasn't allowed to call her mum, and I hated it. I was like, why did I get special treatment? So, like, I guess this was kind of the reverse situation of that. But yeah, I did wrote. Good one, Kim. I did write that 80 is a great mom. Like, she comes in, she's very mom-like.
She is very mom-like.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it was well acted.
Good job on the acting. Yeah.
Good job, actors.
Good job here in makeup. All the boys looked a little different, but yeah. Ed Sheeran, we loved him. Yeah. I love him. I love you. Hopefully one day we get married and he can come back and watch this. Be like, oh, she's psycho. He's just wonderful. I was surprised he had a band, actually, because normally he does everything solo.
It's so incredible. The first time I ever saw him live was when he was opening for Taylor Swift, actually.
Really?
And yeah, you know, a little T-Swift action.
Yeah.
No big deal. And I remember I was just blown away. Like, I'd always loved his music.
Had his guitar
it was just the guitar and the pedal, and I was just like, holy shit.
I don't know if I think I prefer that. I think I like being impressed by his ability to do it all. Not that I disliked having the band. I thought they were great. I like when he does it all. It's
Agreed.
Different. Weekend update. What did you think?
It was long, yes.
'Twas long, because there's 3 guests, right?
Yeah.
50 Shades of Grey, Guy Who Just Bought a Boat, and Elizabeth Warren, right?
Yes, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think it had its moments. I think it got a little bit too long for me. But I did love.
We're doing great.
We're so
Call
good
us
at words.
spicy. Did you see the video of him just mispronouncing everything this week? There's a Facebook video going around. I'm sure you can find it anyway, of him saying everything wrong.
Yeah, which actually, that's right. That was a great part in the cold open too, when he was just like, all right, well, President. Oh no. Oh God. Okay.
Not gonna say that.
Yeah. And then he was just like skipping over.
We'll call her
stuff
Judy or something. Yeah. That's so funny. So I mean, I can't talk, which is always super helpful.
On a talk show.
It did feel long.
Yeah, but I think some of the standout jokes were I love Jost when he said Sessions is our new Confederate general. Oh no, sorry.
Yes.
Attorney General. I loved Che's Trump is the guy who gets his ass kicked in an alley and then says, let's take this outside. Mm-hmm. I feel like Che is always really spot on with like different metaphor jokes.
Yes. Did you write down the racism? The one thing, because it's the one thing that gets better with age. It's like, that's so funny.
That's so true.
Yes.
Of course. Everyone gets less racist as they get older. Did you have any other standout jokes?
I liked is there anyone on the Democratic Party? Just me, Bernie, and Schumer. Amy Schumer. Yeah. So that was funny. In terms of the guests, the guy who just bought a boat, I don't know if I find little dick jokes that funny. Because I know that he was like alluding to that a lot. I feel like maybe they could have been a different way of doing that, of like playing against it, or I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean,
I guess it was like playing the overcompensating for something, but I don't know if there's a smarter way of doing that.
Yeah,
just felt a little on the nose to me.
just to keep doing that, and like I get the callbacks for it or whatever, but it did seem just a little easy. Like, of course, the guy who's overcompensating is gonna say something about like his tiny penis all the time. But.
Yeah. The 50 Shades of Grey couple, it was nice to see Leslie attempt to play shy. Again, I think this went like on for too long.
Yeah.
And kind of just stayed at the same level.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they could have done that differently, or maybe if he didn't seem so afraid the whole way through, or maybe if he was more fake smiley. Like, yeah, he peed on me.
Yeah.
And like, and is trying to do a help me sign or something, like something like that, rather than, okay, he's the wounded boyfriend, she's a dominatrix, but playing shy. Let's listen to them talk for 5 minutes.
I was kind of waiting for one of them to start to like crack
do it.
a bit.
Yeah.
But instead they're like a little bit too on the same page with things. But it was very perfectly cast to have the two of them do it, because like I enjoyed that part of it. But yeah, I think this could have been a lot quicker. And they needed to have one of them start to veer off and do something a little different, I think.
Look at us just agreeing here at the table.
Man.
Let us know if you disagree, and we will decide if we communicate with you or not. Always good to hear what you guys. The Trump's People's Court. What did you think?
I like the idea of this a lot, and I think People's Court, like those kind of parodies, are always funny to me. I'm not sure. Like, I think my biggest takeaway from this actually was just when Cecily, I think, basically was just saying to the world, we are dealing with a lot right now, because I love at the end when she's just like, you're doing too much. I want one day without a CNN alert that scares the hell out of me.
Do you get CNN alerts on your laptop?
I get them on my phone, and I might need to turn them off because
I don't know how I get them, but it comes up all the time, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So that line was really funny to me, because I was like, oh my God.
It's just every 10 minutes.
Everybody gets them. CNN.
Something.
Did I turn them on at some point, or are they just on?
Trump turned them on for you via Putin.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
Why would he do CNN? There should be Fox updates, wouldn't it? Just be, Trump is great, your president is great. That's so crazy. My favorite bit was when he did the Bad Boys, what you gonna do, what you gonna do. And I liked that even though they were never addressed, his sons were there, Bannon as the Grim Reaper were there on his side. I liked, then, Vladimir comes in and high fives them all. So I thought that was kind of cool. I did think that they were going to throw to them or some of them at some point, but they never did.
Yeah, and I can kind of appreciate that, like, just like a little detail like that of the one son, standing up thinking it's going to be him, and then it's Putin. And then I love that they always make Eric Trump so awkward, because he's always the one who's just like, and I'm Eric. And then in this one, Putin comes to give him a high five, and he's just like,
yeah.
awkwardly extends his hand
funny.
to
I didn't
him.
pick up on that. Yes.
Yeah, so I liked the little details in this one of that.
I don't know. I mean, it was just pretty linear. I feel like they could have heightened it in some way, because it didn't really resolve, did it? It was like,
Yeah, not
he
really.
was just being loud and had his own.
Yeah, so I think
What's it called? A gavel?
gavel? Yeah, I
Gavel.
think so. Yeah, yeah.
Pulled back on that as I started. Gavel.
Gavel.
That is what it is, isn't it? Like Gavin? Gavel. Cool. Okay, so the Beyonce, we'll try to speed through this. The Beyonce sketch, which featured Tracy Morgan.
Yeah, it was great seeing him. I like Sashir when she's in stuff. I know she's not in it a lot. I've never had anything against her. I like her when she's doing stuff, but man, do I miss Maya. Because I just loved, and I mean, I know this sketch wasn't about the impression.
Yeah.
But man, do I miss Maya doing Beyonce. That just made me think of it during this sketch.
I didn't think of that. Yeah, of course. Did you find it funny? Did you like?
I did, but I almost just kind of, I'm not sure. There was something missing in it for me, because I think this kind of, like, whenever they joke about Beyonce and like how perfect she is, because she is. I always, I like that kind of humor when they do that. I can't even put my finger on what kind of missed for me in this one. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I will say that it was about this point in the night that I was like, oh yeah, Alec Baldwin's the guest. Because I think he did just kind of fit seamlessly into everything, as great hosts do. And I was like, oh yeah, wait, we haven't, he was in a lot, but I never was, he didn't pull away or pull focus or anything. So
Yeah, true.
I didn't find this particularly funny. And I don't know what I would have changed about it. I think maybe if Beyonce was like disheveled, it would have been funnier. I don't know. Like, I get she's perfect, so we're playing that she's perfect, and what, she's got two talented sons inside her that are. I did like the one line of, well, this one is not an athlete, but he will be hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like, that was kind of my favorite line in it. I don't know what I would have done differently. I think Tracy Morgan could be funnier too. At one point, it just felt like they were reading the cue cards. The timing felt a little off.
Yeah.
It felt like a rehearsal where then you would go back to the writing room and go, okay, cool, we need some more jokes. Or
Yeah.
and I know you don't like Keegan, so.
Oh yeah, because I just love anything with Kenan so much, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's tough when you have that just kind of like banter between two people in a sketch. If it is slightly off or whatever, it does just sound like two people having a conversation almost. That you're just like.
Did you agree with that? Yeah, like the time, like, yeah.
Yeah,
something was weird.
Yeah, and that might be what I couldn't quite like articulate earlier.
Yeah.
Just there was something that was off to me, and yeah, I mean, no surprise, I don't love Kenan.
Yeah.
And so I think it was Kenan being Kenan, because he's always Kenan, and I love Tracy Morgan to death, but yeah, I just don't think it was the best material for him. But I'm not sure what could have gone better inside of Beyonce.
There you go. So this is where it kind of took a different turn for me and picked back up, because I thoroughly enjoyed this Leslie wanting to play Trump.
Yeah.
This is the second time they've kind of done this behind the scenes with Leslie. The first one was her dating, what's his name?
Kyle,
right?
yeah.
Was
Yeah.
that the first one? The first time that they'd done this?
I think it was the first one I remembered it this time anyways, because they did the callback of like them still being in a relationship now.
Yeah.
But
I enjoyed this. I liked her yelling at Lon. I wanted to show you something different. Everyone only casts me as someone who yells. I think for me, I'm a big fan of kind of that mockumentary style format. So I really liked kind of seeing behind the curtain of the faux SNL of what it's like and everyone on the floor looking up.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, same. I love that style. I love that they not only they have like storylines going with this now, like her love story with her and Kyle, Vanessa being the mean girl, who's always being a bitch to her backstage. And then I loved the ending of like Melania pulling up and being like, Donald, why are you out in the cold?
Come inside. So funny.
I really enjoyed this. Yeah, at the end it was a nice light at the end of the tunnel here.
And then the last sketch of the night. Now, I looked at a review of this, and I even wrote it down so I don't just sound like I'm talking out of my behind. Vulture.com said, and sometimes you just need 2 minutes of fart jokes before everyone can go home. And I was like, well, that's a good way of putting it, because I was like watching this sketch. I don't know if I find poop and fart super funny, and maybe just because I'm a girl who grew up in a household where that wasn't funny. I never had brothers, so
Yeah.
I mean, I think it went on long enough that I almost started to find it funny, but
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly was like, what is going on?
That's really the only thing that I think it had going for it.
So
is
I
that it
like
went
that
on
quote,
for
yeah,
so
and
long.
sometimes you just need 2 minutes of fart jokes before you go home. And I'm like, well, that sums it up great, because that's exactly what it was, and sure, maybe we needed that.
That is pretty a perfect quote for it, because I remember just thinking, like, what got cut so that this was in the show? Like, what garbage sketches did they have that didn't make the cut if this did?
That's a really good point. I wonder what's on the edit room floor of like, we're gonna put in the farts.
You know, some writer was just sitting at home like, my sketch got cut for 2 minutes of farts.
Yeah, that would suck. That would really suck. If you'd written something great and innovative, something we hadn't seen before. It's original, different idea.
2 minutes of fart jokes.
Yeah, we're going to cut that, and
Yeah, I think something like that, that's literally all it can have going for it, is when it goes for an awkward amount of time, like, it really has to be a lot.
Which probably needed to be longer. I mean, I think Family Guy does things like that really well, where it kind of goes on for so long that you're like, come on, guys. But it keeps going until you're like, okay, now it's kind of funny.
It has to reach that point and then go over it. Actually, Will Forte had a great spelling bee sketch years ago.
Oh, okay, I haven't seen it.
Where he's literally just saying letters for so long, and it is because you're just like, he just starts spelling something, and then he keeps the same syncopation, so he's just like B-R-N-D-I, like just saying, and it goes on for so long, and that's I thought that was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen, because it went so long.
I haven't heard anyone bring that. So being from New Zealand, we never got SNL, so I kind of had to do a lot of back catalog stuff before doing the show, but I haven't seen that sketch. I'll have to go look it up. He's so funny.
That's it. Oh, love that man.
So funny. Well, that was the show. Overall, thoughts, notes, observations?
Yeah, it was very hit or miss. I think that was my observation, is I was either laughing or going, huh?
Wait, what?
Why?
Wait, what? Yeah, I agree. But they do have, I think, 2 or 3 weeks off now, and then we come back on March 4th with Octavia Spencer, which is going to be great. So, yeah, I think maybe a break, and they'll get some more good kind of material out there. And then hopefully we'll come back with a great show on the 5th. But anyway, for the time being, where can we find you?
You can find me at Amy Maestri.
And you can find me at Kim Crossman. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.